Gotta turn the music off. Hello, let me get the date right. Today is Thursday, the 30th of December, the eve of New Year's Eve. How's that? Gonna say hello for a few quick minutes. It's morning time here in Omaha. It's cold here, but it's not. There's no snow. If you hear some rumbling, that's my cousin, neighbor next door, warming up his motorcycle. His love of his life. He tries to keep it in good running shape, so he goes out almost every morning when it's cold and starts it. I'm glad I don't have to do that. I was just listening to Wolfgang Donner and Dauner, Electronic Myth. This is Wolfgang Donner, the pianist, with his son, Flo Dauner, on drums. Wolfgang Donner passed away a while back, but today is his birthday. It was being spoken of online in music groups, so I thought I'll play this and also endeavor to show this. This was a gift through the vinyl community from German collector Diana Birna. She started a record store for a while, but COVID did that in. Looked like she and her husband were off to a good start with it, but Wolfgang Donner is one of my, again, another of, okay, I'll use the word favorites because, yeah, I prefer his piano playing, so he's one of my favorites. Ryuichi Sakamoto, Wolfgang Donner, Chick Corea, Herbie Hancock. Yes, they are among some of my favorite pianists. There are many, though, many. But Wolfgang Donner, great stuff. Most of his stuff is in the other room, but I can grab a couple of here because they are under the name of his band, etc. And I was after these for years and could not score originals, so I settled for reissues. But Wolfgang Donner's etc. with Fred Bracewell on drums. This is a really cool shit. Again, a fusion, a very interesting fusion of world music, jazz, and rock. And this one, Knirsch, love that weird cover, with John Heisman and Larry Coryell. Yeah, he puts them to good use on this album. This is good. Another one that, back when I was seeing these records, I didn't have the money, They're good. They're good. I'll talk music and then, this is what did I say it already? I'm planning at this point to do another live tomorrow afternoon, New Year's Eve. Not New Year's Eve night, but I'm thinking at this point tomorrow afternoon sometime. Maybe around noon or 1 here, my time, I'll get on live and say hello and see who's around. Here's another album that came out back in the 70s. I didn't know about it at the time, but I would have liked it. I do like it. Saint Just, La Casa del Lago. I believe it's a European band, possibly Spanish. More folk than rock, but intense. And this is a nice, I love the Harvest label, and I do like the way that looks. And these are nice plates. I was noticing that as I put records away yesterday. I would take time to look at the records, because that was part of my original fascination, was the record itself. And they're cool. Plates. Records look neat, especially some records look real cool. Here's an original Spanish band, fusion, Guadalquivir. As I looked up to make sure I had this on my Discogs list, I see that the band is still going or has reformed and had something out as recent as 2019. But this is instrumental jazz rock with a definite Spanish kind of flamenco feel on green vinyl. This is the original that came out in 1976. Kind of cool. This is one that I was able to pick up as a cutout. Thus the hole in the cover there. You know, where they couldn't, when it was released, it didn't sell well, and so distributors sent back unsold units. Those units were resold at a discount to warehousers, etc. But in order to make sure that the records were not sold again as new product, they would punch a hole or cut the corner of the cover or some sort of shit like that. But that's how I got this record collection really going, is cutouts, because I couldn't. It was rare when I could afford a brand new full priced record. Usually as a kid it would come, I'd get one for my birthday. One a year. Imagine. Okay. Ian O'Brien. Downtempo Techno, what they call this, early 2000s. A history of things to come. This is really good, and it's one that, again, because of genres, I think it's lost. People that listen to Weather Report and jazz would get into this, but it's billed as electronic because it is, but it's also the other thing. That's why I don't like genres. I know we have to use them, but just listen to the music and don't worry about what box it fits in. Speaking of that, Tangerine Zoo. Hadn't played this forever. This is a reissue, red vinyl, band from the 60s. And it's definitely coming from that period of time of just the doors were wide open and people were doing all kinds of things. So this is a really kind of progressive, although it's not, it's usually listed as psychedelic, but if you actually listen to the whole album, it's really quite progressive. There's several elements of classical music that are just like, just all of a sudden there it is, you know, just out of left field, they drop it in the arrangement. Pretty cool. And the last thing sitting out that I played a little bit of yesterday, Seefeel, the reissue of their Succour Redux. And this is really dubby and gauzy and real repetitive, but they do it really well. Really well. I love that cover. I just love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. So, this morning, part of my morning routine, I took this to the restroom with me and opened it up. Again, I don't bookmark it, but it came again to a good point where I didn't bookmark it. I didn't know that I would try to share it today. But it goes on again about how we really do a lot of living on autopilot, where we just kind of do things by rote. There's a lot of behavior that needs to necessarily be by rote, you know what I mean? Walking, ambulating, doing things with our extremities, but it can creep into almost everything that we do to the point that we're on autopilot and nothing has much meaning. And that's where a lot of brain rot or mind rot appears to come from, where we're not actively engaged. And when we become actively engaged, all of a sudden we're awake to a whole lot of stuff that we were avoiding. I'm saying we so that, because I understand. So, I like to share that stuff. That's why I always say I try to bring it back to the present moment. Try not to dwell on things. And one of the strongest things that I learned from a past girlfriend who I thought was my soulmate, you know, and in a lot of ways she is, but I really wasn't ready for her. She's way ahead of me. I mean, I'll give her that compliment. She, you know, I love her, but she taught me a lot. One of the things she said, and she meant it deeply, she would just tell me, pay attention. Pay attention. She meant that on so many levels, and it's instructive. So often we're just sleepwalking. A lot of you folks who deal with a lot of emotional turmoil, part of it is that many of your responses to life are automatic and programmed, and you can change those programs unless you have some real deep chemical imbalances, and even then you can, because I'm a retired professional. I've worked with people, you know, who, man, I've worked with a lot of folks who were given up on by their families, even by doctors and stuff. And it would be fascinating to see people wake up to themselves, because I learned deeply that the best way to help people is to realize you can't help them, but to be available to them as they wake up to how to help themselves. That's the shit. That's the message. I see that someone who doesn't speak good English has been commenting and attempting to let me know that they agree, that they pick up on my vibe, which is I'm more interested in being helpful than selling you something. And that is the damn truth. Because I could be trying to sell you something all the time. I don't do it, do I? Do I? Go back and look at all those videos. I'm here, living, hanging out. So yeah, it's important to me in this bit of time to make it worthwhile and share something, you know, something that's useful. And these things that I say in the video, I'm talking to myself, people, as well as you. That's why it's so useful and powerful, is because I'm including myself. I need this reinforcement to not get caught up in the quagmire of just shitty thinking that is prevalent in the world today. Okay, I'll do a pull. How's that? I'm just going to do an easy pull right behind me, even though I kind of know what it all is. I'll go here. Oh man, see, you're going to know what this is. King Crimson. Yeah, see, that's King Crimson. Let me go down below King Crimson. See, I know this. I know my shit. But I don't know it completely well. Here, down here could be a little more of a surprise. I'm going to grab two. Let's see what they are. This is something that was sent to me. I forget who sent this to me, but someone who watches my videos sent me some records off of this label. Low Bit Landscapes is the label, and the band is Nihiti. These are nice. It's kind of somewhere in the region of post-rock and shoegaze. When I played these, and the other one, that's what I grabbed. Okay, this is both of them. They're still, I kept these. I don't keep everything that's sent to me, you know, especially if it's really like, no, this isn't very good. Excuse me. So I kept these Nihitis thinking that there will come a moment. Then I think I'll put one on. I won't put it on the video. I'll put it on when I'm done. But there was enough on the first plays to keep my interest thinking, well, this might click. Okay, so that's my pull for today. All right? Everyone be well.